So it seems like they're gonna be agreeing to continue with preset gods. So what they were saying, random maps. Yeah, random maps, and they're gonna be choosing gods. Okay, yeah, that's how they're gonna be playing that, at least as far as I understand it currently. And Ghost Rider, thank you for the follow. Yeah, of course, streaming on 2-minute delay as usual, since you're having a competitive match. And well, we want to be feeling, or having the players feel safe and comfortable. And they already invited us to stream their special match. Huh. Mediterranean, that's gonna be interesting clash of skills at this point for them. So, we are going to be at this point having a look into... No, well, pretty much nothing, because there's nothing to be talking about on Mediterranean at the start. It's really one of the more standardized beginnings with, well, immediate vision for SuperAfim. Okay, so he's gonna be right about now seeing the fish get for the opponent, exactly where he's gonna be dropping dog. That's an interesting start currently for Mor to be going to the side here. It's actually fairly curious in general. But nonetheless, some people do that, so that's gonna be meaning second dog obviously here. Third one then somewhere all the way on the left side. So that still at this point means that he's gonna be having quite a decent spot in general on defense possibly. Obviously at this point still the set is gonna be able to advance pretty quickly, so you can go like past 4 minutes a bit. So I wonder if Mor is gonna be going for 4 minutes as well, if he's gonna be going for like 4:30, the standard. No, well, but nonetheless, of course, a bit more animals. You're gonna be having there for only one though, it looks like, Oroch. Not gonna be really having that much more here, but nonetheless, plenty chicaneros. On top of it, some pigoslavs, and that's gonna be, I guess, more than enough for him. Don't think there's any kind of issue in general. As far as the food goes for him, incomplete. Nonetheless, looks like you're gonna be also having town centers in water range currently. That's gonna be also this one. So on one side, that's a bit kind of funny, maybe. Of course, it's one for each of the players, but wonder what kind of consequences it could be having, because it's usually kind of one side for each of the players. But yeah, not entirely thinking it's gonna be entirely too problematic at this point. So you're gonna be at this point having an opportunity on the left side for the gold mine extra. That seems to be fairly easy position for Mor currently, and the one to the right, that's gonna be also easy, provided he's gonna be able to control the town center, of course. That is gonna be the important and crucial part to it all. Whereas on the other side, you can see the gold maybe a bit more further away from the TC here for SuperAfim, and it's not entirely that much of a terrible spot either. It's gonna be 3 there, 1, 2... No, maybe there doesn't have to be a gold mine on the right side anymore, because that's 3, 4, 5, so it's gonna be like 1 somewhere, but if I had to guess, it probably will be somewhere about here. I was just kinda thinking if there's gonna be a back gold mine somewhere, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be probable. Better Archibald. Ah, there it goes. Oh well, next to the TC actually straight. That's an interesting spot then. But Relic, a bit curious, of course, for the potential Archie or maybe the Charioteers, as you have already there for the dock. Right now, number 2, a bit further away. This one is gonna be somewhat alright for hiding the fish gap quite a bit easily. So you're gonna be at this point all the way to the bottom, having an opportunity for... Oh yeah, well, the second just kinda has to be coming here. I can't see it going anywhere else currently for Mor. So he's gonna be getting ready for the probably last village, I'm gonna be assuming. And you can see it's gonna be really past like 4:30. As on the other side, Temple also only now, protecting the gold mine and double towers, so it's gonna be super easy to protect the gold. And he's gonna be there for having also somewhat of a similar time in 4:40 or whatnot for both of the players, it looks to me. Another relic also here for extra population slots on the TCs. Not bad. Not bad at all. All the expert tags, I mean, like, you have all the information for 10 years, 15, 20, and people just like still think up some kind of random myths and lies and non-truths. Like, seriously, what the hell? Everybody knows that. So what is kind of like people's agenda in just like constantly seeming to forget that? Yeah, clear rules for that and ideas. It's not like supposed to be anything like a simply good player. No, it's supposed to be like a player that is somehow good for the community and also for the website. and so therefore active there or whatnot. So yeah, it's not really that hard to understand. Never has been, and never was random. But yeah, well, people simply refuse to believe that if it doesn't conform to their reality and their idea of reality that is correct, and therefore, yeah, well, they're gonna be thinking up all kinds of stories and nonsenses and crap. And that's how, of course, nonsense dramas begin. But nonetheless, you're gonna be at this point heading into Anubis already, of course, making sense here for the Satash. So you're gonna be also having right now for more a second dock where we expected, and there we go for 40. For the opponent, it's gonna be practically, or actually not gonna be practically the same. I was thinking it's gonna be a bit faster. So is this gonna be somewhat of a funny build into second TC? Because there is something that has been kind of popping up here and there in the past about a year, maybe plus. Inside now quite nicely prepared for a bit of walling just in case. He's actually pretty smart, to be honest. Yeah, especially with the Egyptian. This is a very smart play, to be honest. Again, you don't need any patches for players to be playing better and more smart. As this is gonna be basically like a preparation ahead, so that he doesn't have to be fumbling if there's gonna be some kind of attack on him. He's gonna be having it ready, and all he needs to be doing is then selecting villager and then clicking on that foundation. Because for the Egi, of course, it doesn't cost him anything. So this is super smart. This is super smart, and after 20 years of novelty, of course, coming into the game as again. After all, that is pretty interesting. But, well, we'll see if he's gonna be really needing it. He kind of didn't yet, but you can see at this point, maybe there's gonna be some kind of visit a bit later, as, of course, Oranos and Atlanteans in general are gonna be want to visit there pretty soon. Even if they're gonna be fighting the water. As yes, SuperAfim looking like the heroic age in there. I was saying I probably didn't finish it too much, as I was just kind of like starstruck at this point by that. But nonetheless, the fact is that sometimes you can be actually lately seeing second TC attempts for Egyptians, ignoring the water, and practically going to TC fast the heroics, and then basically come back later on the water and winning it as well. It's a fairly interesting novelty as far as a strategy. So yeah, seems like at this point SuperAfim though is gonna be going for a good old fast heroic. It's not gonna be the fastest, but 730 is still somewhat solid. And you can see quite nice spread, of course, on the fish gap. As I'm gonna be very curious how actually Mor is gonna be reacting to it. And that is going to be, at this point, what exactly? No more boats? No, he wants to be apparently having quite an overwhelming numbers. And hoping for the best. As you can see at this point, the gold mine, oh, well, he's gonna be having fairly easy access to the top one. So far we don't really see anything too much different and surprising. You can see it now, Hendax and Pickaxe, no raiding by the way by the Anubite, which is maybe surprising to me slightly. You can say it now, even the Oracle turned into hero just to make sure, I guess, as he was most probably expecting some nonsense like that to come up. And yeah, look at that. How he's actually right now keeping one hidden, but nonetheless he's spread out against the Anubites. And they are not coming. So yeah, that's something I was expecting might be. So Mor is already preparing from that and for that, which is fairly smart. It's actually a fairly cool game so far. Little details that you're gonna be right now seeing here, making plenty good sense. No, so that's actually a fairly solid army. He's popped, right? And of course. 28 BRMS. Frankly, he would be smart to probably prepare with even copper shields, to be honest. Thinking that to be fairly smart. Okay, there we go. That's gonna be an attempt. Oh, ancestors also coming up onto the water. Oh well, it's Christmas early, or maybe late, you could be still saying. But nonetheless, that is going to be something extremely rare. You're not gonna be seeing it too commonly. At this point, just gonna be right now enjoying this little moment here, because this is gonna be something you don't see all that much. Can say another Botos without any kind of upgrades on the other side, it's gonna be the same. And of course, that's a bit of a problem, because of course the Mediterranean is not necessarily big enough in a 1v1 to be able to ride away and like run away from all of that. So, oh, well, seems like it. Okay, I was saying that maybe Mor in the first game was preparing a lot more, but nonetheless it feels like that SuperAfim has put a lot of thought into all of this as well, having even prepared strategy here for Mediterranean. And, well, at this point, seems like the Setash is doing pretty well. No, I probably know where I would be wanting to maybe even head the conversation here in certain topics. And I'm thinking that this is actually a very pertinent example of that. Yeah, plane's still on 5-4 by the way. But well, whatever the case, that's gonna be quite a complication for Mor. He is still, by the way, not advancing. He's still gonna be right now trying to win it in the classical, which is gonna be really hard, frankly. As if you're gonna be maybe seen some kind of matches in Age of Empires 2, very rarely you're gonna be though maybe able to make it work, but it's really hard with Feudal Age against Castle Age. And here, it's not entirely that much different, frankly. It really depends, no. This little help from the ancestors is gonna be fairly influential. Without that, Mor will be having a real chance. Now, because the ancestors gave a minute for extra war barges, 17 seconds, we are getting like 3 salvos of them, or 3 batches. It's about like 9 extra during all that process. It might be maybe just enough. But it seems like that so far, Mor is gonna be currently just simply able to murder him with the numbers, and he does have the copper shields finally. That's, I'm thinking, what we should have been picking up a bit earlier. Before, you know, basically when he was waiting for this fight, as it seems like the water will be still somewhere and somewhat on the way. Animals not too much, and quickly check in Hendax and Pickaxe in there for the Ege, but it seems like that on the water we are all over the place, and I'm liking how actually Mor is splitting over, and he's gonna be trying to destroy the water economy during that time, so that he doesn't have to be, so that he doesn't focus only on the military. I think it's actually fairly smart. No, but yeah, of course, like about now, do we have also... No. Kind of thinking that maybe also SuperAfim could be wanting to think of that. He doesn't have gold, though. So that's a bit annoying for him. He's a bit low in there. Okay. Gonna be there for having about still 20 BRMS. Quite nice kiting, actually, here. Luring him into Snakos. Nice by SuperAfim. Messing a bit more. Who's gonna be, by the way, trying to take a second TC, which so far isn't something that we are seeing otherwise. And Dax and Pickaxe as well, of course, added into the mix. 38 villages, fishing boats, yeah, well, somewhat similar. And of course, half of them hiding. Mostly not for Mor, though. Mostly not for him. So you're gonna be currently having there for the opportunity still to play here. I'm really wondering how long Mor is gonna be able to right now push it forward. Because it's gonna be practically locked off by the time. Kinda like when finally SuperAfim is gonna be starting to get some kind of more upgrades possibly, or the second TC. As that it's gonna be getting a bit hairy. At this point, second town center for Mor is looking maybe like an interesting idea, but it's gonna be slightly slowing him down until he's gonna be at 25 wills. Because it's gonna be quite a drain on the food, so that we can forget Heroic Age if he's gonna be putting the auto queue in. No, and currently we're gonna be having 12 barges, 16, yeah, he's definitely right now falling behind. But I'm kinda thinking he has actually bought himself a lot of time with this fight. So I don't think this is necessarily going to be actually that much of a bad result for him still. But he needs to be really at this point not entirely delaying as far as with the town centers. Or, yeah, no, I don't like that, because that's gonna be at this point fairly influential as far as being in range. So we're gonna have to see how quickly SuperAfim is gonna be noticing that. It's gonna be very important at this point to note. Quite a bit. Okay, there we are. Yeah, that's gonna be right now the done. I mean, like, the water is not entirely fully done. You can see Mor is still gonna be having something to say. He sees that. I think he probably sees that. Entirely certain where the circle ends, but I'm gonna be hoping he's positioned to see it. Second TC as well, of course, at this point for SuperAfimino. Still plenty of gold, no problem for him. On the other side, we are gonna be on chicken, 6-2, and he's gonna be right now getting prepared with military and counter barracks. But we can see right now the resource is still not there, obviously. So he's gonna be having to hope that right about now his on-come on the wills is gonna be powerful enough. Okay, he's gonna be picking up the relic that was... Oh, that was the extra. It's actually something that could be real help in here, the Atlantean. Thinking it might be a legit good help. As you can say, now no further upgrades at this point here for him. And... Can actually reminds me at this point, since you are having only the war barges, then basically right now going for any kind of armor is gonna be useless, because you don't have armor against crush. That's a bit interesting. And he's not adding anything else. So potentially right about now he could be having some addition of armor for against the dogs possibly. So in the end maybe actually more played right, that he was expecting it's gonna be only those guys. By the way, ancestor boats are pierce damage or not? I didn't actually notice what they are, the lost ships. If they are the same, or if they are like war barges, I have no idea. Okay, that's gonna be kinda hard. 17 war barges, it might be actually one of the biggest numbers and highest numbers I've ever seen actually of them. You don't entirely have all that much. Okay, that's gonna be... I don't think this is right now any kind of comeback, not really. This is just like wasting time. And looking at the huge resources, SuperAfim is also committing still into the war barges. I think it's making good sense at this point for Mor, that he was actually keeping it busy and keeping it relevant so that he's gonna be confusing the opponent. As you can see, town center finish currently for SuperAfim, which is gonna be netting him further gold mine. And on top of it, we are going to be also at this point able to block, it seems like, Mor, because it almost felt like he was trying to get a TC there as well. Currently he's gonna be at least murderizing all the animals, it looks like. Okay, for the military, double military barracks actually, curious. And that's gonna be a Thea again. Again, he's gonna be trained to Thea. It's very interesting, he's actually gonna be trusting her so much. And he hasn't gone for the horses like last time, for example. I'm still kinda thinking if maybe the Hyperion wouldn't be a bit more interesting option there. I mean, like, from the Thea you really just get this Nymphalamberts and the Dryads. I guess that's some kind of help, that counts. On the other hand, Satyrs are a bit curious. Chaos is an interesting god power. Generating heroes kinda sucks. In general, but nonetheless. Yeah, well, I guess it's gonna be just basically about the preference for the player. And now, of course, this is gonna be quite a bit of a major problem for Mr. Mor. How he's gonna be actually dealing with that. As one Turma against the Vries, not gonna be necessarily enough. And on the other hand, for the Turmanos, and of course with the Migral already in place, not entirely looking to me that he's gonna be able to stop anything here too seriously. As resources, Mythical Age probably won't be entirely too far behind, but keeping this TC up is gonna be practically impossible for him against the massive armada that SuperAfim was having. And, is there a water comeback? I think there is. Yes, there is. I now noticed, unfortunately not too well enough, so therefore the war barges, Shockwave helping out, keeping the TC alive for a bit longer, giving therefore even the Turmas having a bit of a chance at... Wow, they're actually both having the same hit points, interestingly. But it seems like he's gonna be actually timing it perfectly, so that he can be keeping the TC still going. Of course the Masons giving extra hit points in there for a moment. No, but it will be costing economy, because villages need to be keeping repairing. But on the other hand, he needs to be kind of at this point sacrificing anything that he can to make this work. Okay then, so, of course, Turmanos, no, not of course the best against the siege towers, but at least something, I guess. Mercenaries also coming into the fight currently. How is it looking with the upgrades maybe coming somewhere further for SuperAfim? It's gonna be already having Query on the gold. That's gonna be also the same idea for Mor, and fireships are coming forward. So therefore it looks like that water comeback is at this point quite a bit real. Of course, always the advantage with fireships being that you can make them incredibly quickly, only 9 seconds, so you can just kinda get so many of them very quickly. So water comebacks in Age of Mythology are fairly easy. No, and with Saltamphora, this is gonna be very actually worthwhile to get rid of. By the way, left side is gonna be blocked, there is a hole here definitely. Economically, not terrible. Maybe though the plow could be already upgraded into irrigation though. Zekate is coming forward, and that's gonna be a bit annoying. Yeah, well, SuperAfim doesn't have shifting sense, of course, so it's gonna be potentially having a bit of a problem at this point going around. Fortified TC, you can see fully repaired, nice. Already should be put into villages off and just like one on the repair here. Right now wasting economy there a bit more, but nonetheless he managed to defend so far. Quite successfully so, with the next relic. For better archers, well, you're next to it, you get in charioteers. Suples. Let's do that. Milak could have been just going somewhere to the back, but pathing is gonna be messed up. And to be honest, a bit more of a diagonal is gonna be a longer trip, so... From just the geometrical point of view, it's gonna be also quite a bit useful. Now is gonna be, of course, the big question. Because since we have seen the usage of the war barges against the TC. Obviously, Mor is gonna be at this point having the same opportunity with his siege BMS. He's gonna be able to get on this TC very easily. He's gonna be having, of course, the Migdol in range as well, as he's getting even some Atlanteans. So yeah, this is gonna be very much legit. And there we go, and it almost feels to me that SuperAfim is either not noticing or not entirely caring about water. But considering the nice positions he has, he probably shouldn't be ignoring it as much. Of course, since there's also gonna be some kind of further play to be had regarding the town centers. Oh, that's a lot of pop limit though currently for Mor on that. That's not even the rally gonna be covering. He's gonna be having to probably right now decrease the number of boats so that he doesn't get rolled on the land. So of course right now the siege towers are gonna be as always quite a bit of a pain to deal with for him. With Horus coming forward, that will be immediately here. Probably somewhere there because blocking all the good powers. There we go. So DC is gonna be still falling, whereas all the way on the other side, you can see Tataric Gate has been cast with practically the same purpose. Seems like this DC will be also falling, but it will be taking a bit longer, looking at the amount of harbor in there. So, Town Center dead game, resources, yeah, pretty much kind of there. And currently, since he's not gonna be spending on new units, because he's gonna be popped there. By the way, even more reasons to, of course, get rid of some of, at least minimum, some of the boats. As the siege pyramid. And apparently even cabinet. Thinking that the cabinet is a bit overreaction. You're just gonna should be getting ramming galleys anyway. Again, because of the speed of creation, and they're just gonna be solid still. Gold we probably have, kind of. There goes of course the Dryad. There goes the Dryad right now in, and no, actually this dude could be a bit of a problem, but it seems like we're gonna be having at least a few heroes helping out, and on top of it even currently the palace. So that's gonna be all fine, but that DC is gonna be quite a bit at this point in problems. Remington is finally up there, and this one is gonna be taken longer probably to destroy than anything else. And whoo, even second Leviathan. Oh, we actually having a match of surprises here and uncommon things. Who has ever actually done a second Leviathan? Raise your hand in the chat. And yeah, I'm fairly certain I'm gonna be still seeing complete nothing in there. So of course this is gonna be therefore getting destroyed. Priest just gonna doing good job here, having some kind of murder fields. But yeah, well, the hit points are still quite a bit high, even though the TC is trying to do what it can. But it looks to me, which is some kind of false targets. He might actually make it work currently, SuperAfim, to keep it alive. No, look at the echo though for SuperAfim, only 60 wheels, no caravans by the way. Super Mirror is gonna be, Moriror rather, is gonna be already coming up with some caravanes. Yeah, he just gonna need to be distracting that so that EC can be destroying Mediterranean gate. Which right now fairly smartly played. So all the way to the south, still water battle apparently going on at 22 minutes. This is one of the more intense Mediterraneans I have cast in a very long time. Very, very long time. Nonetheless, Mediterranean gate is gonna be there for dead. And didn't take out the TC in the end. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and last one. There we go. Town center is gonna be still standing, and now just gonna depends if... Oh, they might actually just finish right after. It's a bit interesting actually, Batna choosing not to go there. So in the end, it's gonna be both of them destroyed, even though SuperAfim was very close to be actually keeping it up. As you can see now this distance, and therefore looks like it's gonna be getting finished. Okay, that's the BRM actually gave it a bit more time, but nonetheless, it's gonna be a GG all record as well. No, and therefore, we're gonna be having SuperAfim very close to having Mor change his nickname into, well, Afim is my daddy. How was the nickname precisely? Afim is my father. That's how the nickname is going to be for Mor for the next month, if he's gonna be right now losing even the third game. Okay. But statistics are gonna be there for 2-0, and we're gonna be having to see if Mor is at this point going to be putting all his power and whatever else he has into the next game, because he has to be at this point making a full-on comeback, maybe making it just like in general curious for all of us, because that is what's gonna be taken to win the show match and force therefore SuperAfim to change his nickname into Super Alfheim. Interesting, he's still only on Hendux. Yeah, Plow in there only, that's also not entirely ideal. Heavy Archy double Copper. On the other side, practically nothing. And it was enough. Very curious water play, by the way. That was really superb. Enjoy that. And people say that Merit is a boring map. Well, it is boring if you are not a good enough player. I guess that's what you can probably say. No, nonetheless, 800, that's gonna be at this point 8 and 2, so that's gonna be 9,000. 25, 7, so that's gonna be there for 3,800. 3,800 resources more for more. 1,000 of that from the gold on the trade. Same as military count, just the results not entirely there, which is gonna be mostly because of the water, of course, and very interesting fast heroic still working pretty well for the Aegis, even though it has been quite a bit maligned and not many people like to play that lately. War badge is the most common, Jesus damn, what a stat. GG.